from
There just isn't a better way to start a show.
like
What do you
Family
got?
Guy. Huh?
What's in your hand?
This is my little pineapple cup for the new Wagner Wiles show. That's hilarious. Go ahead. Hey,
it just gets better and better.
We heard Chris Attella, so
Thank you, Sean. Lance is having a drink. You should get pretty silly here pretty quick. Hello, everyone.
Hey. Awesome. This is so cool. It's her birthday.
Yes, I turned 51 today. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, calls, texts, Facebook messages. Thank you, everybody. It's been a special day. It's a special day every day with this guy, but extra special day.
Hey, let's bring up that cool guy first.
Yeah, let's do that. We have a cool guy waiting.
A cool guy. My bestie, my BFF.
You're leader of his fan club, right?
That's right.
Hey, Tyler.
I'm the president.
How are you?
I'm the president. Hello.
So we didn't tell everybody, but Tyler is going to be
Pretty much a regular. Yeah, he's going to be here a lot
with us.
Unless schedules get in the way. But yeah, we got him.
So welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
Speaking of number one, happy birthday, Sam.
Thank you.
I actually didn't realize it was your birthday, and I apologize about that. So happy birthday.
That's okay.
And speaking of being with that hot hunk next to you, I didn't see any video with him doing yard work. I saw you talk about it, but there
are some things that should not be shown on Facebook.
No.
Yeah, the muscles, they go way wider than
I'm hitting the gym tomorrow, guys. All right. I'm hitting the gym tomorrow. I'm back. It's back.
No, the gym's just closed.
Ours is open still with all the things.
Thank you.
Gloves, masks, and all that stuff. Yeah.
All right.
If they don't close it again, I mean, I think our mandate started tomorrow will be a week. So there may be businesses that we're going to open that decide not to. So hopefully they do. I
have an appointment. I need to go.
He needs to get out and do it.
Dad bod got to disengage.
Amy says, hi, Tyler.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Oh,
hey, Amy.
So who we got, honey? Who's on this show with us?
Well, we're going to talk to Paul T. Taylor. I'm sorry. I got Tyler. Right Taylor. I'm going to mess that up 1,000 times tonight.
That's all right.
Who is an actor in this one. And
Joe Manco is the director. And I guess bring them up, Joe. Let's meet these great humans.
Show is the movie. We keep saying show. The movie is called The Torturer.
Very good story. They are.
And then we have Joe and Paul. And if y'all want to introduce yourselves, give it a little bit about who you are and what you do, and we'll go from there.
Well, I am Paul. I'm Paul Taylor. I'm in the Torturer. Yes, with Joe directed. Wrote and directed. Yeah. Wait, with Joe directed. He didn't write that.
I directed it. Yes.
Paul Kane directed. Wrote it.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I did that. That's what we're here to talk about. I did also play Pinhead in Hellraiser Judgment. Now that's another thing altogether. But that's who I am. So there. I'm introduced.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Samantha.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. Well, I'm Joe Manco. I'm the director of The Torturer. It's written by Paul Kane. He is the foremost Hellraiser expert, according to Clive Barker. And we shot it here in Dallas, and pretty excited to get this thing finally released to everybody.
And we were talking before the show started. You're thinking, maybe before, but shooting for Frightmare on the release?
Yes, we are aiming for Frightmare. But things might change. We'll see what happens. This has been a pretty wacky year, and so things might change. I mean, we're looking at film festivals, and we'll see where we land, where we're happy with, or we'll take it.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and we're glad to get to talk about your new project, your recent project.
And how do we find out about this project? We got to give him
Mr. Billy Pond.
Because everybody loves Billy.
Everyone loves Billy.
Yeah, Billy's the man.
Is Billy on right now?
Hopefully he's watching.
Hopefully.
Billy's a busy guy.
Yeah, Billy's a busy guy.
Probably playing
watching.
So he posted, hi, Rebecca. He posted promoting and said, hey, all my friends. And so we were like, okay, hey, let's look it up and let's do it.
Oh, Clegg wants to be on tonight, huh? Oh, okay.
Clegg's up late.
Oh, Clegg.
Cleggy, the Cleggster.
Clegg.
Cleggmeister. Maybe an autograph. Send me money. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's war. Sorry. I'm just,
You jump right to it, Paul.
I'm
No
just,
That's
kidding.
awesome.
My brother's here. Hi, Brian. My real
kidding.
brother. I know we have a lot of brothers in the house, but my real brother.
That's awesome.
That's my brother, Brian Patterson.
oh boy.
Well, the one cool thing about this setup right here on everybody's screen, only one person's not from Texas. Everybody else is from Texas. I think that's kind of neat.
But wait, everybody is from Texas.
Well, technically,
he
everybody's
just doesn't
from-
live
yes.
here,
Yes.
right?
One is in the Mountain Time Zone.
Well, but I'm from Texas.
Right.
Hey, there's
Right.
David Sheridan. I just finished your guitar, David.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. We have a crackhead dog that has a ball, and someone wouldn't take it from her, and she feels it's fun to go under our feet. So I'm so sorry if one of us disappears to get her out.
She's a lot of fun. That's our deaf dog, so we can't call to her.
Ah,
So where did you two meet, Joe? How did you get to Paul to get him in the torture?
Well, originally we did not know that Paul lived in Texas. We didn't even know Hellraiser Judgment at the time was a movie. Heather Langenkamp,
yeah.
she dropped the ball on that in an interview somewhere that the new Hellraiser movie was coming out. And
The
she was
day
in
I
it.
started shooting, it was so weird.
Oh man.
The day I
But,
described in Oklahoma City, and it was yeah. Anyway,
We had already optioned the rights from Paul Kane. He hit us up. He hit me up on Twitter from watching one of the old Hellraiser videos that we made for configurationboxes.com. We did a Sherlock Holmes and the Servants from Hell video, which is a book. It's based off a book that he wrote.
Right.
And if you haven't read it, it is freaking awesome. It's engrossing. So we found out that Paul lived in town, and we hooked up with Studio Movie Grill here in Arlington, Texas, to do a 30th anniversary screening of Hellraiser. Nobody else was doing it in town. Not even Alamo Drafthouse wasn't. Nobody was.
Wow.
And Studio Movie Grill, a brand new store at the time, they gave us the opportunity to come in and throw a party. So we got Arrow Video, we got Just Adorables from San Antonio. We had anybody who had Hellraiser merchandise to sponsor our event, and we gave it away. And when I found out Paul lived in town and he was going to be our new Hell Priest, I invited him over to come watch the movie with us. And then next thing I knew, I was like, hey, do you want to be in this Paul Kane movie?
and next thing I said was yes, because of course I do.
So it was just one Hellraiser thing after another. So
That is so cool. So what's the time frame? This is all pre-quarantine, I'm assuming, on the filming?
yes.
No way.
Way
Yeah.
before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It filmed 2
End
years
of
ago.
May. No. We filmed, what year is it? 2020. We filmed in May 2019.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, so we shot in 6K. We shot a 20-page script in 5 days, and the movie's 40 minutes, little under 40 minutes. And man, that was brutal. We shot in this 10 by 20 rock and roll space room. It was this band space, and there was all these other little black studios, all these black rooms everywhere that had all these heavy metal bands playing. It was a holiday weekend, so that was kind of our jumping off point. We're like, okay, so we have to shoot here because no one's going to be at the studio. We got this space. We only had about $5,000 to make the thing, and we got it done.
And of course, my rate was half of that. So,
Well, Paul wasn't cheap, and he cut us a deal still.
Please.
So the entire film was actually done inside that studio, right?
Yeah, in that little black room. Yeah. In that little
Right.
black
Well, and a garage.
and a garage.
Our last day of shooting was a garage.
Yeah.
And
That studio was right, and for quite a lot of one of the days, well, a couple of the days, there was a band next door that thought they were God's gift to the bass drum, I guess, or something. It was crazy. God, we hated them so
They
much.
weren't even making music. As soon as they heard me call
No.
action, they just
It
started.
would start.
Oh,
Like it was intentional?
Yeah, they were intentionally trying to mess us up.
Certainly seemed,
Oh,
they
not
knew that we
cool.
hated them. They knew we
And
hated them.
Oh.
We probably lost a good, I don't know, 16 usable hours of shooting.
Oh
Man.
my God, don't say that. 16.
No, but
Yeah, it was.
we got total coverage still. We still
was this
did.
on
We
one
did.
camera?
We got total coverage.
One camera. We
One
shot
camera.
on
Yeah.
a red weapon in 6K, which has a Dragon processor.
Yeah.
We had
Wow.
two MagSafe cards, and if you're familiar with those kind of cards, you can only get about, if you're shooting in full 6K
Mhm.
in full frame, you can only get about 30 minutes worth of footage on it at a time. So we really had our stuff planned out. We already had the script storyboarded. We had the whole movie storyboarded and shot listed before Paul even signed on. And we were campaigning hard to raise money just to make the thing. We really wanted to get Paul in the movie. We really wanted to, pay our artist friends for their time to work on this with us. I mean, you can do a Weekend Warrior project, every month, every other week, whatever you want, and all your friends could help out. But it's getting to the point now where, I want to take the artists I know seriously and pay them for their time. And, the most we were able to get was about $6,000, and $2,000 of that went to Paul's arm. Not to
Oh,
Paul,
my
to
arm.
his arm.
Wow,
Really,
that was good stuff.
doing that scene was $2,000.
Well, I mean, there was other things that went to it. I mean, but the
What arm? What are you talking about?
but I mean, like that arm is pretty gnarly, man.
Me. Oh.
So, Joe, I just want to say one thing that I really
arm.
appreciate about what you just said is because I live in a state that doesn't have a lot of incentives. We have a lot of people that really enjoy film. We have a lot of people that want to do things, but it is Weekend Warrior. You're asking people for favors. You're asking people who have normal jobs, full-time jobs, to work on weekends and nights and everything. And until we start to pay the talent, crew, and cast, until we start to pay them so they can start to transition to that being a full-time job, it's going to be really difficult for any city to really grow that industry, because if people can't make enough money to do that, they're not going to, it's just a hobby. And then you're not going to get the talent that you want. You're not going to get people who are dedicated. You're going to get people that are going to call and not show up because they're not getting paid. So,
Yeah.
And
so
the
I appreciate you
downside,
saying that. That's important.
well, the downside is
Absolutely.
when you're doing Weekend Warrior and people can see you in hobby mode, but you're trying to make it a full-time gig, it's really difficult to get people to take you seriously. And especially when you do horror movies, or that's where you want to be primarily, is in the horror genre. A lot of film festivals, I've met people in film festivals. I've met people who are theater owners who run all these events, and they horror shame me a lot that it's not a real genre. And
Wow.
it's really,
Really?
and it
Still,
really,
These days.
yes, and it blows my mind, because it's like you have no idea how much more timing and how there's a lot of work and that goes into making a horror film, to build suspense, to build comedy, to build, to get that heart bumping, and to hell with them.
They haven't met this horror family, because this family's tight and we go to bat. Thank you.
Everybody loves everybody in this community.
I want to guess ahead of time. Y'all know Catalina?
Catalina's my wife.
I was going to say there's a lot of comments, so I'm wondering which one of you knew her.
I know her.
She's a production manager and editor for Little Spark Films.
Well, thank you for your hard work.
Thank you,
She edited
Catalina.
the
Yes.
She's wonderful.
Well, I think the whoever did the music, or even the background synthesizers doing the whole thing, I really was a fan of that. I thought that was really good stuff.
Thank you. That's Paragraph Taylor of the band Manifesto.
Brilliant musician.
Him and I, we've childhood friend of mine, and I was already dedicated to him working on my first film when we were in junior high.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So y'all have a long rapport together. Y'all know each other pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Not saying you're old.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, like you know somebody, so you know what works with them and their personalities, and
they probably know how each other thinks.
Yes,
That's
what I mean.
Well, Paragraph's wife Eve, she did the storyboards for the torture,
cool.
and she did our artwork that kept us going through promotions, which is the canvas art that you see. It's a Paul covered in hands.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, so she did that artwork for us as well.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question to Paul?
Yeah.
So, Paul, you did a great job, by the way, in this film. I thought you were so you're obviously talented, but you were so into that character and the moments and everything, and your performance really shined through. Now, my question is, once you see it with everything in there, with the music, the synthesizer, everything that Lance was talking about, and everything. How did you feel about the performance then? Were you able to to get into watching it as an audience member versus critiquing your own performance because of everything outside of that, the sound, Foley, music, all that?
Yeah. Are you speaking of the Torturer or of Hellraiser Judgment?
Sorry, the Torturer.
Yeah, I thought you were. I just wanted to make sure. I am very critical of my own work, so watching it was tough. I enjoy some of it, but watching it, I enjoy watching it all the way through. As just, I wish I could discount the fact that that's me there, and someday I think as an actor I'll be able to do that, and for some films, I am able to do that and just watch it and not even. Well, I don't forget that it's me, but it was challenging only because it's me. You know,
it's really you.
The addition of I love the music and of course I'm not one of those actors that. Between every take is like, let me see it. I mean, I know I did that a few times, Joe, but not all the time.
Not really. No. I mean,
I'm like, all I can do is my work. You know, I'm so blind. Sorry. That I just do the work, and then hopefully when I see it later, I like what I see. And that's not even, as an actor, that isn't even really what it's about. It's not about me liking what I see me doing, but you know, there's a certain part of that. But in general, it's just such a weird movie because before Hellraiser Judgment, I did a few horror films, but not really anything bloody gory. It was mostly like comedies. I did comedies and a few dramas and. So the horror is not new to me at all, but I mean, I've watched it my entire life and I love most of it. But the super gory stuff, seeing me get beat up or killed or whatever happens, it's weird. It can be weird. It can be emotional even. I mean, I think that 2019 was, what year did we do this?
2019.
2019 was a rough year for me. It's kind of like everybody wanted to hurt or maim Pinhead. It was very strange. I got killed and hurt so many times. And Ron, I feel comedy and horror have a lot in common. They really do. They really do. Thank you.
Timing.
Yeah, timing. So I don't know if that probably more than answers your question. But
no, that was a great answer, and I agree with you that it is difficult when you see yourself because you try to see it as the audience member, but it's hard to not have judgment. But I've noticed, you know, when music, because music, lighting, color, sound, all these different things kind of complete the picture. And so what they do rather than distract is they kind of add to the experience. So when you watch yourself with everything else, it makes it a little bit easier to separate yourself from that. And so I just wanted to know if with the synthesizer, with all those things, if that was, if that made it kind of more complete for you when you watched it. As an actor, when you watch anything, I understand this. When you watch anything without any of those other things, it's nothing but my eye twitched. My lip always do that. Like, shouldn't I have like turned my head this way instead of this way at that time? And I hated the way I delivered that line. And so when you actually see the completed film, what a lot of people don't realize is that it's an orchestra of so many different things. And so when somebody says, wow, that actor was so good, well, you have an editor, you have a director, you have sound, you have color, you have all of these things. And so when you watch that as an actor, then you can kind of go like, oh, I did my part.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. It's not theater. Theater, you're on stage, everybody's looking at you. You've been rehearsing it, and here it is, and da-da-da-da-da-da. But with film and TV production, and I love this about it, it's my favorite thing about the industry, is that the actor is just a part of it. And what you do as whatever, I'm speaking as an actor, whatever your position is, when you're not active, you're not active. You know, you're watching all these other people run around doing their part. And then it's like, oh, now I step in and do my part, and I better damn well be prepared and do it. It's just different. And that's what I love about it, because I love watching the separate pieces of the puzzle. Hello. All these people helping me out with their words. Thank you.
Bo's a wordsmith.
So
He
what
really
you're
is.
talking
Maybe you can tell I'm a little having a little trouble with my brain tonight. But yeah, that's my favorite thing about the business is when it all does come together. And you froze for a little second when you were asking that question the very first time, and I missed a little, just a couple words. So I don't think I got the whole concept of the question, but the answer to the question, the short answer to the question you asked is yes.
So we're talking about all the pieces fitting together.
Everything, it can make or break your performance, but that's not what's important. It can make and break just everything that's happening. And it's, if you can divorce yourself from what you did and just watch the whole thing as a motion picture, because it's a picture, not a stage, then it is, it's really remarkable. It can be really amazing. I love it.
Well, you did a great job, and again, I mean, you were on camera quite a bit, and that's a lot of not pressure, but it's you were consistent. You were you were the tool that you were supposed to be.
I was such a tool.
I
was not the torturer.
No, you weren't. I want to ask Joe, because we're talking about pieces of the puzzle, and without giving away anything, we're talking about lighting for a second.
Okay.
Either the existence or the lack of light in a movie can change everything. So in the direction that this movie went, was there a lot of thought behind the lack of or the addition of a lot of light?
Well, in the story, the way it's described is that it is in a black room with a glistening stone, like a cell. And the best we can muster up was our safe haven, which was Pro Rehearsal Studios. And all the rooms in there are just covered in black carpet.
That's crazy.
The ceiling, the walls, the floor, the doors are all painted black. Except in our room, there was this the light switch was red, and they were like, "Oh, we got to put gaff tape on." I'm like, "No, leave it. It's cool." But it's very blue, and there's a lot of negative space to work with. And the story, not giving too much away, it needs to have that amount of negative space. It does. It's a story about PTSD, and when you're dealing with your own thoughts. You're wrestling with yourself when you're dealing with terror and you feel alone and you're isolated. You feel this big. So
And that's
having
so universal. It's
Yeah.
just universal. That's all. Sorry.
Oh yeah, but I mean, so all the negative space was on purpose, and that allows, I feel, everyone to just let their imagination play. How big is this room? How big is this void that this man is in, when he gets tormented? And then there's other things that show up. I mean, we have the props. I mean, it seems very little. Like, there's a table, there's a chair. Okay, that's not hard to get. There's a clipboard. Okay, now there's a table full of torture utensils. There's manacles. There's a mouse.
There's a rat. That was a rat. That wasn't a mouse.
That was a rat.
That was a
Sweet little white rat.
That rat had big nuts.
That was a big male rat.
We could not get that rat to run away from Paul to save our lives.
Sleep Challenge said he had big nuts.
He did. They were dragging.
But when you have a story that is just two men in a giant empty room, and you want to keep that negative space, you have to play with the lights, and learn, how do you get depth of field in a giant black room? How do you do tricks like push pull with the camera? So it was a lot of it was a weird exercise to play with all that. So of course, a lot of it's blue. You can see the stylistic changes with lighting as the movie goes on. But it was something that my director of photography and I came up with a lot. We spoke really in depth about it when we were in pre-production, and George, he's great, and he shot that other movie that Paul Whitetail.
He's on Whitetail.
Yeah, he shot Whitetail, which Paul was in also.
Whitetail.
DP.
Yeah,
Joe has a picture, I think, of Whitetail.
That's
There it is.
Say what?
Yeah. So
I'm on a deer hunt.
yeah.
Is this a horror movie?
No, well, it's the horror of human beings, so yeah. But it's more of a thriller.
Okay.
But man, you want to talk about lighting though, George? He is someone who genuinely knows how to paint with light, and I mean, everything he does it always looks great. It always looks beautiful. We're very fortunate to have gotten him, and we wouldn't have gotten him if it wasn't for us working on a little project with Lloyd Kaufman called Murder Balls.
Sweet.
And when
Uncle Lloyd.
Yeah. And we shot that on a whim. Literally, we had 6 hours to prep for that, write it, and get it going with it. It was just like that. Well, George eventually saw it, and he was like, "We're working together. Say yes."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I was like, "Well, here, let's do this." And so we shot The Torture. But if it wasn't for him, I would not have been able to get the stylistic look I wanted. I told you we only had about $5-6 grand to make the movie. Wow. And equipment is not cheap, and labor is not cheap. And especially when you're asking people to take off 5 solid days of work to come and, work on a project, you really need dedicated people. And honestly, what helps make that happen? Money and food. Keep people fed on set.
Right.
We know about that.
We've learned a lot about craft services.
Yeah.
We have.
How many days did it take y'all to shoot completely?
5 days. It took
5 days. Full shoot.
5 solid days. And, that's the only way I feel to make something. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, Paul was he was on point. And so was Lawrence, and Lawrence was great. And
yes, he was.
I feel
which one was Lawrence? Can you help us?
Lawrence played the torturer.
He was the torturer.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
You need a picture of it.
But if we had shot the torturer only on the weekends, we probably wouldn't have gotten as much coverage as we wanted to. We would have probably lost shots that we needed, and there wouldn't be as much consistency in.
I was going to say,
or the lighting. And so, if you want to make the product at least as best as possible, and I'm not dogging on anybody, because I have done the Weekend Warrior thing, and it's really freaking tough, and sometimes that's the only way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
But 5 solid days straight, we got the movie shot. We got total coverage, and the reason there's consistency is because of the 5 days straight.
Well, I say a lot of fanboy things, Joe.
Totally.
So what I I think the music part of it, like I was saying earlier, I feel like that's a character. That's probably a fanboy's way of looking at something, or a fan. I think that the music was almost like a character. And I'm a gore whore. I'm 100% gore whore, and I love the gore. I
thank you.
Y'all did for that budget. That gore was really good.
You just
Thank
your
you.
favorite scene had to
Damn,
be
like you were uncomfortable to say that.
Who me? Who me?
Yeah.
me or him?
No, when he was like, "I'm a gore," and he was like, looked over at you like,
He is a gore and an attention.
Whore. Whatever.
Oh wait,
I love the score.
we have a hard time telling the difference
Thank
between
you.
WHORE and HORROR. They're
Being
the same with
from
him.
Texas, she's real bad.
Oh,
It's like she's saying whore. Yeah.
They're the same with him.
so.
The horror.
If I can go real quick back to what Joe was just saying, I think that, again, going back to industry and people wanting to get into this industry and wanting to make something good that's going to make a mark for themselves, or it's going to move them up or anything like that. When you're passionate about something, you're going to do whatever it takes. You're going to do the weekend warrior thing. But he's absolutely right. When you are shooting on nights and weekends, and you take something that can take 10 days to shoot and you take 3 months to shoot, there's no way that actors can be consistent. There's no way that your lighting and continuity is actually going to be there. And in order for that to happen, though, you have to be able to condense those days. You have to be able to pay your talent and your crew and everybody to be able to take 5 days off of work if they have other jobs, to dedicate themselves to this project. And again, I think that's a very important piece about film in any state that has a big industry like Texas, New Mexico, New Orleans, any of those kind of states, or those states, or a state like I live in, Colorado, where we really don't have that kind of an industry. In any of those states, you have to focus on taking care of the people that want to do that full time, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can take care of them to do that full time, then you're going to be able to condense those days, do 1 week shoots, 2 week shoots. I mean, now with digital, it's even better than it was back in the 90s when I was doing it, because, back then everybody had to shoot on film and it was going to take 3 months to shoot something.
Running film back and forth.
Now you can shorten it and you can shorten it down to smaller times and everything. But as filmmakers and producers, you kind of have to ask, the impossible, which is asking for funding. And Joe, you had funding, and that is a big thing, because so many people try to do things for free. And when they do things for free, they're going to ask for favors. And when they ask for favors, people are going to, even if they do it afterwards, they might not feel that great about it. So kudos to you for getting the funding, for taking care of your people, and getting that done in that short period of time that you did.
Thank you.
I thought a 19-day big project was ambitious. 5 days is wow. That has to be intense for you, Paul. Like, to be in the position you were in without giving too much away was
grueling.
That's a lot of intensive stuff.
It was grueling, and I gotta say, it was wonderful. I just at the end of the shoot, I just got handed a check. I mean, that was wonderful. Because there's a difference here. I mean, that's not why I do it. That's why I did it. I wouldn't be doing it. But what I'm saying is, there are hobbyists, there are professionals, there are some people who meet in between. There are these who want to be these who want to be these. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but to finish a shoot with people who are not, we're not in a studio, we're not in a, this is not a multi-million-dollar picture, and yet here immediately is your money. That's not what you're asking, I know. But the part about it being, that kind of respect for paying your actors and for paying your crew and for paying everyone, just getting everyone paid before you move on to be doing anything else, that's being a professional, in my opinion. And it makes it want me to work with people like Joe again. And because as I said, I'm not in this for the money. I wish, maybe we all wish that we were making as much money as some others, doing what we love. But
Right.
I mean, I've done theater my whole life. That never pays enough. So, what was grueling though was, I'm glad that it was grueling. It was 5 days on the same picture. We'd go home, we'd take a little nap, we'd come back, we'd still have the same sticky residue on us, and we'd just keep going.
Yep.
And the costume was still wet, and it wasn't that gross, but there was some grossness.
I remember it being gross.
The bloody T-shirt stuck to the chest hair. Okay,
Oh.
but yeah, it doesn't matter though. When you see the movie, it doesn't matter. It's like it's done. You're not seeing all that stuff when you finally see it. You're just seeing the finished product. I was glad when it was over because I was so exhausted.
How long did you have to hold your hands up? Because
that was going to say.
Well, that was pretty weird because we didn't have. The walls were they cement? They were.
It was cinder block. It was cinder block underneath the.
So we couldn't under the carpet.
So you were holding them up.
Books were like stuck in the carpet. They're like, wow. Oh my god!
Did you get the burn or what? Oh my!
I got
that would hurt.
I got more than the burn. But then when I was supposed to cry or whatever, it was easy. It was easy to be exhausted and
exactly.
Well,
I mean,
keep reading the comments and it's just cracking me up.
I can say
we have great comments.
Yeah.
I can say this for Paul though. I mean, he did have to keep his arms up. I mean, those manacles weren't able to stay up at all. As soon as he put weight on them, they'd fall down and the thing would knock him in the head. And so he had to keep his arms up.
Motivation.
So long. And then he had makeup on like all over one arm. And so, yeah, I mean, he knew his lines and he kept his performance consistent. And, he was playing off of Lawrence really well. So, I mean, I would hate me.
Paul Tortured Taylor.
That's awesome.
He was on the set.
That's awesome. Satan from the Corpse Paint show.
Yes.
Awesome.
So I'm a band nerd, and I just have to say, somebody who had to hold their arms out, marching for hours in the summer or whatever, I understand the burn, and congrats to you for keeping those arms up because burn clarinet.
It was very Marilyn Manson of me, wasn't it?
Yes,
it was. Yeah. Took one for the team. You did.
I do like the drugs.
Was there something, Paul, that you were able to connect to? Because you seemed to. Was there something you pulled from to get this character, or did you just act it out?
Yeah. No. It was definitely. So people who know my history know this. So I'm not going to. I don't want to take too long to say all this stuff. But many years ago, I got hepatitis C. So there, I just said it. And then I went through many years. I'm cured, thank God. But I went through many years of feeling really sick and thinking I was going to die and accumulating the medication. I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. So that alone, just that self-flagellation and that guilt and shit that I put on myself, that was enough. That's enough. I mean, that's a lot. But I didn't need anything more than that. It's kind of like, maybe I could have just imagined that someone took my cat and cut its tail off, and that would be enough. But I had plenty to pull from. I think as you get older, I mean, the Hellraiser Judgment was the same thing. It was kind of the same thing. The suffering, all of that. But this was different because in the torture, it's more about self-abuse. It's more about beating oneself up and guilt and all this shit. Because that's my specialty.
But as Andy, we saw you. We saw you were playing Andy. We saw Paul as Pinhead. We saw a lot of prosthetics and things.
Yeah,
so we really saw you in this one.
Yeah, it was something. There was a lot to pull from. I'm so glad I went through what I went through in my life, because without it, I wouldn't be who I am. And that sounds like a cliche because it is now. But I mean, it's the pain, it's the suffering, it's the torture we put ourselves through as we're growing and living, and that's what an actor has to pull from. So much of that I'm grateful for, because so much of that is what gives you an honest, vulnerable, funny, whatever performance it is you're doing. The ability to just bring it is, God, I'm not tooting my own horn, but that's what the craft is, That's what acting is. And when you cover it up with the contact lenses and the makeup, if you look like that, that's freaking amazing. And I thank Gary Tunnicliffe for making me look like that. And when it's like being on stage, if you're the only one on stage, you're on stage, you're in a costume, everyone's looking at you.
Right.
You don't have to fall off the stage. Everyone's already focused on you. It's the same way when you look like a monster like that. You don't have to do much,
Right.
So anyway, yeah.
And I appreciate everything that you just said, Paul. And Joe, I'm going to go ahead and, without even knowing this, I'm going to say that you're a good director, because a lot of directors don't understand that actors can't pull like that. It's going to take him. Directors have to work with their actors, and their actors are going to have time to kind of get into those characters and stuff. There's a lot of directors out there, and I'm sorry to say, but there's a lot of directors out there that are good at directing. They're good at making films, but they're not good at working with talent. And when you have somebody like Paul, who actually has things that he's going to pull from, he's not just going to pull it out and be like, okay, I'm ready. It's going to take time. And so while the director's working on other things, the director's checking in with the talent and saying, okay, where are you? Are you doing okay with this? Give your actors time to work on the emotions that they're going to have to pull up for this scene. And so the fact that, Paul, you were able to pull all of this off in 5 days, and there was a lot of camera time on you, and Joe, you were able to do whatever it is that you did to allow him to do that. That's great directing.
Thank you.
Again, directing is not just like, hey, put lights here and everything. It's also talent management, and it's taking care of your people.
Right.
So I'm sorry, you're about to say something, Paul.
I just was going to say trust. Joe has great trust for his talent.
Thank you.
He trusted us to do what we needed to do, and if he didn't like it, he was going to say, but he trusted.
That didn't
us.
happen, right?
I don't remember.
Oh wait, I put you on the spot.
Very doubtful.
I want to say y'all did catch me. So Mr. Brooks, because I have like this huge picture type brain. You remember the movie picture, Mr. Brooks? Somehow I kept thinking that was like an homage or a tribute to Mr. Brooks. Remember the movie?
Yeah.
So I was like, I kept thinking, okay, everything this guy is going through, Mr. Brooks, and then boom, you caught me.
Movie with
Mel. It's Mel Gibson, right? I'm terrible with names. I'm so sorry, but it's
Kevin Costner.
Kevin. Yes, I think
God.
it is Kevin Costner.
I could tell you a story, but it might be too long of a story.
Before we do that, Paul,
I'm not going to tell the story. I'm not going to tell the story.
Producer Joe says it is time for
the trailer.
Here we go.
Do it, Joe.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Producer Joe.
Let's watch the trailer.
Please.
Please, Joe.
No, absolutely. But I had 2 trailers, so I'm assuming you want the torturer first.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, he sent them in. Joe sent them.
Joe sent them. Joe, which one do you want to show first?
Let's show the torturer first.
All right.
What's the second one?
Do you remember what we were talking about before you dropped off? I've been hired to do a job. That's exactly what I plan to do. I'm not a very patient man, Mr. Brooks.
Listen, where am I? What do you want from me?
I already told you that.
When am I gonna get something to eat?
When you answer no questions. You tell me what I want to know. It's very simple. You tell me inside your mind. Make life easy for yourself. How's your memory now, Mr. Brooks? Anything coming back to you?
My name's Andy Brooks, and I don't remember anymore.
Awesome.
I don't remember. What does it feel like watching that back?
The trailer?
He's probably watched it a lot.
I know that trailer like the back of my hand now. The moment it came into my possession, I just kept clicking it on my phone over and over and over again. I couldn't stop watching it.
That's so cool. So what's the other one? I'm excited now.
Yeah, Hellbound Laments.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
The trailer of the Hellbound Laments.
Joe?
Yeah.
There are many entrances to hell. Throughout the centuries, apostles of Leviathan devised ways to travel between our world and theirs.
You don't love the harlot. You love the pain she inflicts upon you. Enjoy this.
Give it to me. These configurations open the doors to the ultimate experiences of pain and pleasure undivided. Take your chance to revel in the delights of Leviathan and feel the unadulterated true nature of hell. These are the Hellbound Laments.
That's cool.
Thank
Now,
you.
now explain that for people.
The Hellbound Laments is a series of micro short films, which are movies that are they're short films that are about I would say 1 minute to 3 minutes long, and you can call them proofs of concepts, or you can call them horror movie commercials for the Pyramid Gallery and ConfigurationBoxes.com. And what they do is they make novelty boxes based off the movie Hellraiser, or as you saw, one of them, the one we opened the trailer up with, was from it's inspired from Nightbreed, another piece of Clive Barker's work.
Gotcha.
So it's all celebrating the art, mythos, mythology, whatever you want to say it, the gore, the macabre of Clive Barker. And so we shot, originally, before we made The Torture, we shot 5 of those videos. And we shot them 1080p, DSLRs, one-day shoots, a couple hours here and there. After we shot The Torture, the same crew wanted to make some more of those videos. So we, later on in the year, December, the first weekend of December 1st, maybe, of 2019, we shot 8 of those videos in one day. And if you ever work on a Little Spark Films shoot, we start at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., kind of when you just kind of walk in, and we'll go for, 12 hours. But if we're really having fun, we'll go till probably 1 in the morning, I don't like to revisit shoots. I like to keep it all in one day. Unless we're shooting the Torture, there's no way we could have crammed 5 days into one. But that's what the Hellbound Laments is. It's a series of micro short commercials promoting Clyde Barker, promoting the Pyramid Gallery and configurationboxes.com. So if you're interested in purchasing any of those boxes, you can find them on Facebook. You can visit their websites, and you can sell them. Or, various conventions. They're always at conventions. If you've ever been to Texas Frightmare Weekend, you've seen their booth.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with Ron. What Ron just said earlier on, he posted that somebody clearly got this box and opened it up in 2020. So it's a box this year. Let's just keep it.
Do not open another box.
Oh my God!
Wait till 2022 at least. We need 1 year where it's vacation and fun and all this kind of stuff. Let's.
Joe, that's Itai at My Indie Productions.
What?
So right there on the screen.
Itai?
That's Itai.
Uh-huh.
He's at My Indie Productions, and they're really good people.
Huge advocate of independent filmmakers.
Yeah, thank you.
If you're not friends with them, you want to be. Follow them, like
Be
them,
my friend.
make friends with them. Yes,
Thank
they're
you
amazing.
so much.
Itai's taking a little hiatus, but there's other people you can reach.
Yeah, he's here. He gets, if he's not getting it,
He's
someone's
in the
telling
know.
him.
He's
Yes,
in the
he
know.
knows. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Looks good, Joe.
Thank you.
I've not watched a lot of the micro videos, but each one represents a different box.
Yes.
Right?
Different boxes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so how many are there at this point that you've made? Or like 10? Or does Catalina be there?
We've made 13 box videos. And so we've released 7 out of the 13.
Cool.
And so we release one every Sunday. But there's only 8 boxes that we've really made the videos for.
Right.
So I think in September we will probably be bestowed by the Puzzle Guardians to do another season. I don't know.
I hope so. I bet you will.
I kind of hope so too. At the same time, it's like, do I want to make another micro short, or do I want to make something really big that I don't have the rights to?
Are you inviting other people to make their own micro shorts with this?
Excuse me?
Are you inviting other people to make their own micro shorts and submit them to you, and then you include that, or are you making all the micro shorts on your own?
Oh, well, I don't think that would be. I don't know. I've never thought of it that way because everything we do is like we are very inclusive when you come and work with Little Spark Films.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to say I hold the market here on Hellraiser. I sure as hell don't. So these companies would love for people to help them, and if they appreciate what you do, they might want to work with you.
It'd be a great way to find some good talent.
Yeah, it's not. I found my crew has grown from originally we used to be 4 people working out of a dinky little room. Now we're 50 plus people.
Yeah,
making these videos, and it's a lot of fun. And I don't want to be weird here, but just look at the Friday the 13th Vengeance guys. They're doing fan films and they're kicking ass.
Don't be weird, Joe. Don't be weird.
I know.
Weird was the arm, Paul. Weird was the arm.
Can't have it.
But
right, the Vengeance.
Thank you, Catalina.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jason Brooks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And we saw them back in. Paul and I went to a convention back in August in
so much fun.
Kansas
City,
Kansas,
Topeka.
In Kansas, and that's where we met. Yeah, we met the Friday the 13th Vengeance guys, and they were awesome. And I always I was thinking this is weird that I do all this Hellraiser stuff, and really I'm not allowed in the gates of hell.
Well.
But then I see Jason Brooks doing Friday 13th Vengeance. I'm like, holy crap, that is so cool, and it looks legit.
It's such a great fan film. It's a full-length feature fan film. Every cent of it goes to charity.
So
That's awesome.
I have a question, if I may. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Paul. I apologize. But Joe, you mentioned Nightbreed, and I'm looking over your right shoulder. I see a mask from Nightbreed. I see Phantom of the Opera on top of it, I think, and a wig on it and a hat.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
COVID. I got bored.
That's awesome.
So it's not blame Joe, it's now blame COVID.
That's awesome.
I love the fact that Phantom's on there. That's
good eye, producer Joe.
I know. I think I know that whole musical from like word for word from beginning to end.
Yeah.
That's awesome that he's on there.
Yeah.
Joe Manco, is it safe to say Clive started it all for you?
So, what are you talking about?
Like all the love that you have for all this would you say Clive started it all for you?
For filmmaking?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. It was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Sweet.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Great.
That was the movie that I was probably 6 or 7 years old. My grandmother had recorded it off of television for me. And when I went to go spend the night, she surprised me with it. And I didn't know what it was. And it had all the commercials off of ABC or whatever still on there. And I watched it and I said, I want to do that. I want to make this. What is this?
Awesome.
And, I just kind of held on to that forever.
It had to be snakes. It had to be snakes.
Yeah.
But, I think I discovered the Barkerverse, though, when I was probably in the 6th grade. And, yeah.
Good stuff.
I love that the Barkerverse is just a word. Just a word.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is? Well, okay.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, when things, it's funny, we get lingo like where things that were just a part of something become a meaning of something, and you just say a word and it like a whole story comes with it. But we learn as we get older, sometimes the younger generations don't get it, and as we get older, those people, you know what I'm saying? Like,
fuck them.
They don't always get our sayings.
Teach them. If they don't listen, they don't listen,
Yeah. We said something to the lady at the checkout today, like
Yeah,
Soylent Green. Where's your bottle? I thought you had it.
Soylent Green.
I bought some Soylent Green today.
There's a new bottle.
Soylent Green every day with those pineapple things. Lance, chill out on the pineapple drink.
Hold on, you got to see this. This is hilarious. While he's gone, I want to show you one of my birthday presents. 2 of them. So I don't want y'all to think I'm a lush. This was a flask.
Nice.
But this one was hilarious. This one cracked me up. It's a phone, right?
It's a flask.
It's a flask. You push up this button.
And you don't want us
Is
to
that
think
funny
you're
or what?
That's cool.
It's hilarious. Okay,
That's awesome.
Soylent Green. It's actually green, and it says Soylent right here. And it doesn't say, Lance tried to find it. It doesn't say not made of people. But the lady at the checkout didn't have a clue what we were talking about. And that's what I mean when words become meanings. Like Soylent Green to us means something. Other people not always so much. Thank you, Max.
Mm-hmm. And Soylent actually does mean something now. It does. I can't.
Compost, right?
Why can't I? I mean, it means.
You can say whatever you want to say here, Paul.
I just can't remember. It's just Soylent is yes. It's Soylent Green. It's food made from people in a Charleston.
It's people.
That's right.
But it's also Soylent. Actually, I need someone with an encyclopedic brain to just come up and go. What it means now is it means
what it means now.
Tyler, are you looking it up, Tyler?
Yeah.
What it means now is if you're 20, it means this.
Plant food. That's plant food.
Plant-based food. Yes.
Oh, it's plant-based food.
Yep.
Oh.
Everybody wants me to start eating better, so I got to start eating better.
All right. So Joe.
What?
Producer Joe had to challenge George with shrimp the other day. George has been eating healthier, right? He's been eating steak, cauliflower, and these things, and he got this ninja and these fruits and vegetables. And Lance eats cherries and pineapple is his fruits, and his vegetable consists of green beans and corn. He's like, I want a ninja. I said, what are you going to ninja? Pineapples, cherries, pretzels?
But George says it's all good stuff.
He's not going to put the good stuff in his ninja.
Whatever. Show that. Hey, he just show that. Paul.
Oh,
Joe, producer Joe, that picture of Paul, please, with Mark. Please, Sam.
Haha, Paul.
As long as Paul tells everybody how much this is extra at the conventions. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
I took this picture. I took this picture. And look at his necklace. If you can zoom in on his
Nobody
necklace.
can really see the detail on his shirt.
It has bats on it, I believe.
Yeah,
And that's Mark Torgel from Toxic Avenger rubbing on his leg with Sam.
So the shirt was actually like a velvet texture. I did feel his arm too, but we didn't get a picture of that. The pants were very Rostisk, another term, and the necklace was wicked.
Freak. It said freak.
But he was like the dude that dressed.
He
to
was
the
the man.
weekend.
He was the man.
Yes. That is only 75 cents.
Oh, stop it. It was $1 million.
It's so weird buying clothes. I'm not. I'm no clothes whore.
If you went ahead and said that was your wardrobe, everybody would believe it because you pulled it off.
The horror crowd is interesting.
You're still awake.
Where did you get that shirt, Paul? Brian Clegg? Maybe Vampire Freaks?
That's where you told me it was from. It was Vampire Freaks.
Yeah, okay, it was Vampire Freaks. So
awesome.
So we have horror people who don't give a fuck about what they wear. They don't bathe. They're great.
Well, that's conventions.
That's conventions. Okay, it's not horror people.
Don't generalize horror people. It's conventions.
Who are complete, just like, who cares? Let it all hang out. We don't care what we wear. We're the coolest in the world anyway. And this is why we're here, because we're the coolest. For that particular weekend, I'm normally not that coolest, but I'm normally not wearing like what I was wearing in that picture. I changed my clothes twice that day. I don't know why, because I had them.
Good.
And I met people, and I could. I brought them. It was in Texas. I drove there. I met Billy Pond, and I met Bill.
Yes.
And I'm just like, I either am making a fucking ass of myself, or this is cool, because I'm just like, I don't normally dress like this.
No, you were totally cool.
But and it's shiny and new.
Thank you, Roy and Lisa Rose, for that convention.
Yes, thank
we
you.
got to meet you.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun convention.
It was awesome. We got to hang out with Tyler some more.
Yeah,
That was a good time.
it was fun.
Y'all were right across from each other.
Yep.
My corner is a little quiet, but it's
Thank
still
God,
fun.
because that Lance got to like monopolize you because of that, right?
Then you got to go do Tasmanian Tyler with Brian.
I went and hung out with Brian, with Brian and Lance, and I use Brian Clegg as my Facebook guard. Like when I get friend requests, if I see that Brian Clegg is already friends with him, I'll just accept it without having to look it up, because I know that he already did.
That's right. That's right.
He's done the legwork.
That's right.
And am I wrong that this was also the weekend of Butcher's Bluff, or was that the next convention I went to?
No, Butcher's Bluff was there that weekend.
Yes, of
Yes,
course.
it was.
Of course.
They were they were behind you to your right. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
That
you're
was
going to be in. I'm sorry. Let's segue into our ending. And before you go there, let's say, Paul, if you want to tell us what your upcoming projects are, plug. And where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on paulttaylor.com is my website. You can find the real Paul T. Taylor is, I think, my Instagram.
Yes.
And then Paul T. Just correct me if I get it wrong, because it's very possible I will. My Spacey Face page book is. Oh wait, that's not. Oh my God, I have some stuff coming up that is but with COVID, it's so hard to know exactly what's going to be happening. But Butcher's Bluff is supposed to shoot very soon, in a couple months, and I'm looking forward to that. And I do believe Mr. Cone is going to be in that as well. And other than that, I was in the middle of shooting a thing in Oklahoma. I got my time, but then it got shut down with 5 days to go. A comedy up there, and there was I don't really need to bring down the crowd by talking about it.
No, you're good.
But oh my god. So sorry I don't have more information for you, Joe. I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Well, I got one more thing I got to bring up from Paul, though, if I could. One of the coolest pictures.
Your producer, you can.
Yes.
Two pinheads.
Two pinheads.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bradley.
And they were nice to each other. Can you imagine?
He's a super cool guy. He's just I owe so much to that guy, you know? What can I say? Doug Bradley is Pinhead, and I got to play it. But he's the guy. So whatever's happening with the franchise, whatever, blah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Anyway, he was really cool. I met him at Texas Frightmare Weekend a couple years ago, and I also got to meet Clive Barker, and I was whisked away to a room, and 3 of the original Pinhead Cenobites.
Awesome.
But I was whisked away to the room to meet Clive Barker, and it was just like, so you're the new Pinhead. You know?
So Paul, I asked you a question at the convention, and I videoed it, but we haven't put a compilation together yet. Is what did playing Pinhead do for you and help you, and what did it mean to you? I didn't share this with everybody, but I'll give you the opportunity to do it firsthand.
I would say that what it meant to me the most was that it was the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. And it has elevated my stature is not the word. It has elevated my profile as an actor, made more people want to work with me, which is wonderful. You know, that's great. I feel like because I grew up as a kid who all I wanted was to be a monster. All I ever wanted was to be a monster, and I wanted to be scary. And I used to want to be unrecognizable. Now I just want to be grotesque and scary. I don't want to be unrecognizable. But when I was pulling pantyhose over my face when I was a kid, I wanted to be unrecognizable for Halloween. But it's weird. It's just so weird. I mean, I got cast in the part, and this friend of mine, a theater friend who I'd known for many, many, many years, Kurt Rhodes, hello, if you're watching. He wrote to me, he just texted to me, and this was just a couple days after he found out. He said, congratulations on your instant cult status.
Oh.
Aww.
And just, you know, I mean, that kind of shit, that's not shit. That kind of stuff is just like, what? Is this the world? How did this happen? You know, I can just say, oh, I'm lucky, I'm blessed, I'm whatever, but we work so hard to get what we want. And if we can have just a little bit of that, then you know, and then we realize, oh, I'm of a certain age. I'm not getting any younger, and I got to do that, and hopefully I just get to do more and more and more and more of other films, not Hellraiser, whatever. That's another subject altogether. But so that's a really long answer, but
perfect.
I'm just so grateful, you know. Life sucks right now. Sorry, but it kind of does. So go all around. It's going to get better
for all of us.
But anyway, yeah.
It beats the zombie
Great
apocalypse. It's
really
just the regular apocalypse. That thing.
Apocalypse.
Shot or two.
I think it's awesome to have something that motivates you, something that you're proud of, something that you feel like, you know, you can not necessarily like utilize, but, you know, just like your friend said, I mean, you are a part of history now.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's weird to be. It's like I'm kind of famous.
A little bit, yeah.
And that's, you know, I shouldn't say it like I'm a wilting flower.
And I have his autograph. I have his autograph.
Deserve it, you know. We can't think that we don't deserve things. We can't think that way. We can't shrink. We have to We have to embrace everything we can bring to the world. And anyway,
We don't go through anything for nothing.
it's true. You got to go through agony to.
Exactly. So Joe, I want to give you the same opportunity. Where can we find you? What are your future projects and
our website is littlesparkfilms.net. Our front page has the trailers you've seen. It's got a bunch of stuff. There's a whole slew of quirky, fun, punk rock schlock that we made before we started shooting more professionally. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, just Joe Manco. My name, I think it's showing up on everyone else's screen in the bottom corner.
Yep.
And future projects. Right now, I'm in the middle. Well, I'm starting I'm producing a film right now called. I'm helping finish up a film called "The Man Who Left Nothing," which is a rock and roll mockumentary about the postmodern punk rock star Davy Rocket, who doesn't exist. Then we're starting pre-production on a movie about a junkie at war with pizza and tube socks.
Wow.
And it's called Wages of Sin. And it is another movie that takes place in it's a one-room location with two actors. But I'm not directing either of these films. I'm helping produce them, and I'm first AD on Wages of Sin. And then there's other stuff that I have written that I have been commissioned to write, and we'll see where the rest of the year takes us.
Awesome.
All right, so I got to do something though, because Joe was kind enough to send in all these pictures. Joe, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh no!
All right, I'm going to pull up these pictures, and 5 seconds or less per picture, give us a description on what's going on.
What, me?
Yeah, you. You ready?
Oh, okay.
On the spot.
No pressure.
No
pressure.
Okay, let's do it.
100 points
All right.
to score.
She has Clive Barker's shirt on, and she's got a piece of shrapnel in her gut, and I'm telling her what to do at the camera.
What movie?
Torture. That's Matt Ash down in the bottom corner, and he's applying guts and Paul's arm to Corey. This actor is my first AD when we're making our films, and he's an amazing actor and writer himself. He has a show called Nerd Scum. He's Nerd Scum. All right, that is a cell phone picture of
my cell phone. Yeah,
of a prosthetic arm with nails inside the fingers from the torture. That is the Uber York, and you can see Corey there in super ghost face as acting as my AD and first AC, directing that scene with Kirsten with a shrapnel in her side, and she is about to give you some hell inside the camera, which you actually see in the trailer. That's me talking to ghouls and Paul while he's sitting in the chair. And I remember that scene vividly because Paul was literally asking me, what the hell am I looking at? There's more application to Kristen's shrapnel. That's Matt Ash. He's amazing. And that's me directing the Hellbound Laments. One of the various Hellbound Laments. As you can see, Garrett is putting sandbags on a C-stand while holding up a light panel.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why he did that. And that's my new headshot.
Good job.
Great headshot. I like that.
Thank you.
Good.
Can I okay, this is so unprofessional of me. Can I do something? I just have to before you ask more questions, and I apologize for this. This is because I'm tired. It's been a kind of a weird day, and okay, God. Oh my God. What is wrong with me? I just want to say that besides Butcher's Bluff coming up that I'm going to shoot, I need to talk about just a couple other things, only because I did them recently, or I did them in the last couple years, and they're out now. One is called Whitetail. You saw a picture from that. I'm very, very excited about it. It's a drama, and it's the largest role I've ever had, and I just think it's going to be really great. I'm in Infamous, which Bella Thorne is in. It's in drive-ins right now. It's fun. It's a fun film, and doing very well because because there's nothing else going on in the world. And I'm in a movie called Roadhead. This is a crazy film, and it's it's a nutty film that you should also look up. It's horror, it's comedy, it's quirky, it's bizarre. So Roadhead. You could just also actually go to IMDb and look me up. But this is what I'm doing instead. There's this movie called Shifter, and I shot that in Oklahoma City a couple years ago. It is now doing a lot of conventions and stuff. Shifter is wonderful. And that's all I'm going to list right now. But thank you for letting me do
that. Is a lot of work.
Like I gave you a choice. But
I'm dying to see Infamous, Paul. Todd Jenkins and Billy Blair in that as well.
They're great.
I'm dying to see that.
They're great in that. So I'm done with that. Thank you.
Awesome.
A commercial for me.
So what about Tyler? Tyler, we'll be seeing more of you, sir. So
yes, I'm going to be. I'm hoping to be a regular on the Wagner Wiles.
Okay.
And I'm also with Paul. I'm going to be working on Butcher's Bluff. I'm actually flying out. I have my ticket, and I'm going out on my birthday. So I'll be filming with William on my birthday on August 21st.
Awesome.
And I'm going to be doing this.
All right.
Can you solve that thing without taking the stickers apart or without taking it apart?
I can.
You can?
Yeah.
You can?
I do this so now that we have so many Zoom meetings with work and everything, while I'm in Zoom meetings,
working on the Rubik's Cube.
Nice. I can only do it by
cheating. Solving Rubik's Cube while I'm like doing Zoom meetings. So
look at
Do you solve Rubik's Cube while you're doing scenes?
When we were on,
don't do that one. Don't do that one, Joe.
Don't change the box.
Wait, can I get one of those? I won't open it in 2020.
So when we were on set for the last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs while doing the Hellraiser segments, this box was all kinds of jacked up, and it was sitting in front of Diana Prince, or Darcy the Mail Girl, and it was bugging the hell out of me that it wasn't right. And so I just handed it to George, or Jorg, the DP of the Torture and Hellbound Laments, and who's also going to be the DP on Butcher's Bluff. Awesome. And no joke, this thing was jacked all up. He solved it in less than 6 minutes.
Wow!
Just so we can have camera continuity
with his
tongue. Rad.
Yeah.
Tyler says, where can he get one of those?
Mezco. It's a Mezco product.
You can order it from toink.com. If you
TOYNK.
Yes. If you ever go to
Tyler?
toink.com, TOYNK. If you ever go to
like toy NK.
Okay.
Twink, which if you say fast enough sounds like twink, but
right.
Twink.
If you ever go to like comic book conventions and you see these,
oh wow,
they're like mystery boxes full of horror movie toys.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I campaigned to have the company make I used to work for this company. I mean, I guess I do. I don't know. Anyway, so this is how much I like Hellraiser. I tricked a company into making me these boxes to sell.
That's awesome.
Why didn't?
What?
Sorry, I'm writing down. I spelled twink wrong. Somebody just correct me. Here we go.
Catalina has it on screen.
Yeah.
Twink.com.
Good job.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say now. That's all right. So this is the other thing I'm doing is I made Mr. Billy Pond another set of pickups for one of his Strats.
Oh, nice.
So
cool. That's fabulous. Wow.
Billy spoiled all of
that.
So Billy has a lot of he's got a lot of talent when it comes to guitars and stuff. But anyway, so I actually hand wound the pickups. I'm totally jacking this up. I hand wound the pickups. So I put my little signature on them and then put those on. And so he's going to be getting these this week sometime.
Sweet. Good job, Tyler.
Cool.
That's what I like to do in the spare time.
I think we got to wrap it up, guys.
Yes.
Yay!
So
Thank y'all.
we love you guys. Thank you for coming on. It's been great getting to know you and your projects. And
Thank you,
Joe,
Billy Pond, for getting Joe
Yes.
involved in touch with us. It was
Thank
awesome.
you, Billy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah. There, I can see.
All right. I just popped up to say stay on for one moment after
Yes.
we exit, but you guys go ahead and do your thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you. And as you have new projects, please let's come back on and let's talk about them.
Sounds
Thank
good. Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Joe.
you so very
So
much.
much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks.
Honored y'all were here, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
And
Bye.
thank you for joining another adventure of
We had
Wagner
a
Wiles.
blast.
Adventure.
Adventure.
Absolutely.